There's a law of power that most people completely misunderstand. Law 38 from Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power. Think as you like, but behave like others. At first it sounds weak, like conformity, like giving up who you are to fit in. But it's the opposite. It's about protecting your thoughts by hiding them. It's about operating freely while appearing ordinary. It's about being dangerous while looking harmless. This is one of the most powerful strategies for anyone who thinks differently, who sees things others don't, who operates on a level most people can't understand. And if you master this law, you become untouchable, because nobody sees you coming. Let me explain what this law actually means. Think as you like means your mind is free. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your worldview, completely yours, independent, uninfluenced by what society expects. But behave like others means you don't advertise that difference. You don't announce your thoughts. You don't make yourself a target by standing out. You dress normally. You speak normally. You follow social rituals. You blend in, not because you believe in those things, but because blending in protects you. It lets you operate without interference, without judgment, without people trying to stop you or change you. Your thoughts remain private, your actions remain acceptable, and you maintain total freedom while appearing to conform. That's the power of Law 38. Here's why this matters more than ever. We live in a world that punishes different thinking. Not always, obviously, but it happens. If you think differently about politics, people attack you. If you question popular beliefs, you get canceled. If you operate by different values, you get excluded. Society demands conformity, and if you refuse, you pay a price. But here's the thing, the price isn't worth it, because broadcasting your different thoughts doesn't make you brave. It makes you a target. And once you're a target, your actual power decreases, because now people are watching you, judging you, working against you. You lose the element of surprise. You lose people's trust. You lose your ability to move freely. Does he make sure everyone knows how smart he is? Never. He dresses like everyone else. He speaks plainly. He acts average. He avoids standing out. People think he's unremarkable, ordinary, nothing special. And because they think that, they ignore him. They underestimate him. They don't see him as a threat, which means he can observe them freely, analyze them without resistance, position himself strategically without anyone noticing. He thinks completely independently, but he behaves exactly like everyone else expects. That's Law 38 mastered, and it makes him more powerful than everyone who's trying to prove how smart they are. Because while they're performing for attention, he's actually accomplishing his goals. Now let me tell you when this law is most useful. Use it when you're in an environment where being different is punished, a corporate job where politics matters, a social circle with strict unwritten rules, any situation where conformity is expected and deviation is punished. In these environments, standing out ideologically is suicide. You become the target, the problem, the one people want gone. So you don't stand out. You mirror the culture. You echo the values. You participate in the rituals. But internally, you maintain your own thoughts, your own plans, your own agenda. You're playing a different game, but you're using their board. Use it when you're building power quietly, when you're not strong enough yet to survive being a target, when you need time to position yourself, when revealing your true thinking would create enemies you can't afford. Blend in, appear ordinary, let them think you're safe, and by the time they realize you were different all along, you're already too powerful to stop. Use it when you're surrounded by people who can't handle different perspectives. Some people can't tolerate disagreement. They take it personally. They turn it into conflict. With these people, arguing is pointless. Explaining your different view is pointless. So you don't. You nod. You agree on the surface. You maintain the peace, and you keep your actual thoughts to yourself, where they're safe. Here's what most people get wrong about this law. They think it means being fake, being a liar, betraying yourself. But it's not about that. It's about strategy, about understanding that not every thought needs to be spoken. Not every belief needs to be defended. Some battles aren't worth fighting. Some people aren't worth educating. Some environments aren't worth trying to change. In those situations, Law 38 says, save your energy, protect your thoughts, blend in, not because you're weak, but because you're smart enough to know when visibility is a liability. Let me tell you the signs you're violating this law. First, people are constantly arguing with you, challenging your views, trying to change your mind, because you've made your different thinking too visible, and now they see you as someone who needs correction. Second, you're excluded from opportunities, passed over, left out. not because you're incompetent, but because you're seen as difficult, different, a potential problem. Third, people watch you more carefully. They're suspicious. They question your motives, because you've signaled that you don't think like them, and that makes you unpredictable, dangerous. Fourth, you spend more energy defending your beliefs than actually pursuing your goals, because you've made your thinking public, and now you have to constantly explain yourself. If these things are happening, you're violating Law 38. You're making your different thinking too obvious, and it's costing you power. So how do you actually apply this law? First, stop announcing your different thoughts. Nobody needs to know how you really think. If you disagree with something, you don't have to say it. Just nod, move on, save your truth for people who can actually handle it. And that's a much smaller group than you think. Second, learn to mirror the people around you, match their energy, echo their phrases, participate in their rituals. Not because you believe in it, but because it makes them comfortable. And comfortable people don't see you as a threat. Third, keep your long-term goals private. The moment you announce what you're really trying to do, people will either try to help in ways that hurt you, or try to stop you because they don't understand, so you don't tell them. You just work, quietly, without explanation. Fourth, create different versions of yourself for different environments. At work, you're the corporate culture fit. At home, you're something else. With close friends, you're more open. Not because you're fake, but because different contexts require different presentations. Fifth, only reveal your true thoughts when it serves you. Sometimes showing people what you really think gives you an advantage. Maybe it positions you as a leader. Maybe it attracts the right allies. But that should be a strategic choice, not a compulsion, not a need to be authentic all the time. Here's the uncomfortable truth about this law. Most people can't handle it, because most people have a desperate need to be seen, to be understood, to have their uniqueness recognized. So they broadcast their different thinking. They make sure everyone knows they're special. They turn their beliefs into their identity, and then they wonder why life is so hard, why people resist them, why they keep ending up in conflict. It's because they're violating Law 38. They're thinking differently and behaving differently, and society punishes that. Always has, always will. But the people who master this law, they think whatever they want. They believe whatever they want. They operate by whatever principles they want. But they keep it hidden. They blend in. They appear safe. And because of that, they're free. They're powerful. They're untouchable. Not because they compromised their beliefs, but because they were smart enough to protect them. Look at every powerful person in history who operated this way. They didn't announce their full strategy. They didn't reveal their complete thinking. They didn't make themselves obvious targets. They appeared conventional while being revolutionary. They seemed loyal while being independent. They looked harmless while being dangerous. And by the time anyone realized what they were really doing, it was too late to stop them. That's Law 38. Think as you like, but behave like others. Your thoughts are yours. Keep them safe. Keep them private. Keep them powerful. And let your actions speak quietly, effectively, without explanation. Because the people who need to announce their different thinking are insecure. The people who are truly different don't need to announce it. They just are, in silence, in strategy, in power. So here's what you need to remember. Your thoughts are your most valuable possession. Protect them. Don't hand them to people who can't understand them. Don't defend them to people who will attack them. Don't perform them for people who will use them against you. Think freely, believe independently, operate strategically, but look ordinary, sound conventional, blend in. That's not weakness, that's mastery, that's Law 38. And once you understand it, you'll never waste energy trying to make people understand you again. Because you'll realize they don't need to understand you, they just need to underestimate you. And that's when you become truly dangerous.